What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Willie Does Wrestling, back at it again with a brand new video. And holy shit, we knew that there was going to be a day where all the silence was going to be dropped on the whole CM Punk and AEW situation, and that day was yesterday. CM Punk went on Ariel Helwani's at the MMA Hour show, and he basically dropped everything. He basically exposed almost everything in terms of AEW, Tony Khan, what happened at All Out, what happened at All In, and everything in between. And he held basically nothing back. He didn't give a fuck. Ariel Helwani said that this interview was going to be no holds barred, and Jesus, it was a death match. So essentially, we have here from the Wrestling Observer, fuck Dave Meltzer. We're going to read this article. It has the highlights of everything CM Punk has to say. So we're going to look at these highlights and we're going to give our thoughts as we go. This could be a bit of a long one, but let's see. So, CM Punk opened up about his time in AEW during a long interview with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour on Monday, tackling everything from his backstage altercation with Jack Perry at All In, his issues with Hangman Page, and what it was like working for Tony Khan. So, here are some key quotes. On his experience last summer at AEW All In, there's nobody there to pick me up, and it's not a big deal. I just got on the tube train, and I was like, adventure. That part was fun, but it's completely irresponsible as a company to leave somebody stranded at the airport. Obviously, there were reports on the day of All In that may be part of the reason why CM Punk was so frustrated at AEW was because when he went to All In, nobody was there to pick him up. And CM Punk had to, this part was true. We already knew this, that CM Punk had to go and take a train, and he had no idea where he was going. He was lost. And a fan, or a couple of fans in the train, had to tell him where his hotel room was, and fans had to tell him where the arena was, because my man had no clue what to do in London, and there was nobody there to pick him up. So, yeah, no. It was very irresponsible on Punk's part because people knew that, or Punk thought that there was going to be someone there because there typically is, but there wasn't at All In. Then when asked about Jack Perry's Cry Me a River line at the event, Punk says, there's all these rumors about NDAs. There's a big difference between not being allowed to talk about some shit or not wanting to talk about some shit. I don't necessarily want to litigate this again. Tony's big idea for Collision was a separate show. We're going to separate everybody, and I said that'll never work. Just let me go. Just get me out of here. Obviously, I guess he didn't want to go too much into detail about how mad he was when Jack Perry said, Cry Me a River. And I guess here CM Punk didn't really want to do Collision. He didn't want his own show. And it was like, hey, we're just going to separate everybody so that way everybody can play nice. Because, the Elite will only be on Dynamite and Punk and Friends can be on Collision. I mean, you got Punk, you got Darby, you got Sting, you got Ricky, you got Danielson. I don't even think Danielson really in the early days. So it's just like, there you go, Punk. There you are. And Punk was just like, I said that'll never work. Just let me go. Just get me out of here. Because it's like, why are you going to separate everybody? Like, unless you did a full-blown brand split, but some weeks there'd be people on both Dynamite and Collision a week. So it was clearly done just so Punk and the Elite can just all be happy. And, I guess Punk just doesn't want to talk about Jack Perry's Cry Me a River, but he also said There's all these rumors about NDAs. There's a big difference between not being allowed to talk about some shit or not wanting to talk about some shit. I just don't want to litigate this again. So maybe Punk didn't get an NDA. Maybe he didn't get an NDA. Punk continued to talk about how he asked Tony Khan for his release after All Out 2022. Punk says, these guys don't want me here. This isn't a real business. This isn't a business predicted on making money, drawing money, selling tickets, you know. It's not what it was sold to me as, so let me go. Oh, I can't let you go. I'm going to do a new show. And then the second day we have the show, I'm sitting in catering, minding my own business. Tony Schiavone comes and gets me, and he's like, hey, I really need your help. I was like, what? And he's like, Jack is cussing me out, and he's cussed out Mike Mansory and cussing out Daryl from production, and he's cussing out the doctor right now. I was immediately like, the dude isn't supposed to be here. I was told people are getting separated so there's not problems, and you don't want me involved in this. So Jack Perry was very mad. Well, I guess this was probably around the time where a bunch of people were telling Jack Perry, no, don't do a glass spot, because obviously before All In, there were reports that Jack Perry wanted to write himself off TV for a while because I guess he was going to go on a vacation or something, and he was going to put himself through glass, get written off TV so that way he didn't have to be on television. So I guess he probably made the pitch to do a glass spot, and Tony Schiavone said no, and a bunch of people from production. CM Punk really elaborated on it, where Tony Schiavone came up to Punk and said, hey, Jack's cussing me out, and Mike Mansory and Daryl from production, Jesus fucking Christ. Punk continued to say he told Perry that several people told him he couldn't break a rental car window with a pipe, and that if he wanted to do that, he could do it on Wednesday. Punk said Perry seemed to have no problem with this at the time. It's very much who he is friends with, and things never got squashed. Nobody's in charge, and it turned into what it turned to. After Perry said the Crimea River line at All Out, Punk says he approached Tony Khan about it. I went to Tony and was like, please handle that. Like, please. And he was like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I'm not telling you what to do. Just be the boss, please. Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Tony Khan is not a fucking boss. Are you fucking kidding me? So, CM Punk went to Tony Khan like a man, and he's like, hey, this guy's calling me out on TV. Can you please do something about that? Like, can you please, like, get this boy in line? And Tony Khan's like a fucking rebel child who's sitting in the corner on his phone playing fucking Candy Crush, being like, oh, what do you want me to do about it? Oh, I'm sorry, aren't you the CEO of the fucking company? Hello? What do you mean, what do you want me to do about it? Get a talk, suspend him, fire him, do something. Oh, I know, but he feared for his life. Oh, boo fucking who. On the altercation itself, I thought I was doing a responsible thing. I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody out a little bit. Samoa Joe was there and he told me to stop, and then I quit. See, Samoa Joe's a real G. He deserves to be a world champion right now. And then I quit. I turned to Tony Khan and said, this place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown. I quit. I went to my room. Then Joe and Jerry Lynn came and got me and were like, let's just go and kill it. Samoa Joe is a real fucking G. He's just like, Punk, stop, please. Just stop choking this dude out. And then Punk went to his room thinking that he was just done. And then Samoa Joe was just like, nah, man, let's go have our match. Come on, we're scheduled to have a match. Let's not make these people sad. Let's just go and fucking kill it. But my favorite part, and I said this on Twitter yesterday, is that someone finally had the balls to call Tony Khan a fucking joke to his face. And CM Punk, I don't care what his public reputation is from this now, my respect for him went more up. Because someone needed to tell Tony Khan that he's a clown to his face. AEW is a fucking joke. Well, the product's not really a joke, but it seems like the backstage is. When asked about Tony Khan's comments about being afraid for his life, Punk responded, "I can't tell you what Tony felt or what he was thinking, but I never did anything to make him fear for his life, but he's who he is." I guess Punk was basically implying that Tony Khan's a fucking pussy. There was a concerted effort to, I guess, slander me and try to ruin my character. And that's kind of the genesis of all the drama. Like, don't do that. Why are you doing that to a guy who works for your company? Why are you lying? Why are you spreading lies and rumors and bullshit about your top guy? And that was mainly the reason about all the drama, like Punk said. I mean, the All Out 2022 shit, Punk was mad that apparently someone was spreading bullshit about Punk probably got Colt Cabana fired. When asked what working for Khan is like, Punk responded, "Man, that's a loaded question because I don't like the drama, but the truth is the truth. He is not a boss. He's a nice guy, and I think ultimately that is a detriment to the company, but it's not my company." I mean, yes. Tony Khan, we've said it for years and years and years. Tony Khan needs to stop being a friend and start being a fucking boss. Tony Khan wants to suck everybody off. He wants to be all buddy-buddy. And that's why everyone's all fighting each other, is because they know if they do something, it's just a suspension and then that's it. Tony Khan doesn't know how to run a wrestling business, and people, for some reason, hold Tony Khan to such a high standard that it's almost like K-pop stans. You say anything bad about Tony Khan, it's all fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I've seen people on Twitter be like, "Oh, why did CM Punk say this? Oh, he's a piece of shit." Meanwhile, they love him. I said on Twitter, it's like, if CM Punk was still in AEW, you'd be sucking his dick. And it's true. If he didn't talk about the Lord and Savior, Tony Khan, you wouldn't care. Regarding the controversial Hangman Page promo, he thinks that I got one of his friends who hasn't been fired. Speaking about Colt Cabana, I went to Tony and the lawyer and I said, "You need to fix that, because if I do, you're not going to like the way I fix it." And I thought I was being professional by not just murdering him on television. With me, respect is the default. I respect everybody until you do something that makes me lose my respect for you. I had never done anything to any of those guys. If they are basing how their attitude is towards me based on some bullshit their friend told them, well, I can't help you. But I've got plenty of friends who don't like certain people, and I keep relationships business. And everything fell off the rails from there. It's a shame. It's really a shame. So yeah, Punk is basically saying, yeah, well, I was mad because people thought I was getting Colt Cabana fired. Punk confirmed he's not able to talk about what happened after his post-event media scrum at AEW All Out 2022. He would only say, "I didn't have to sign an NDA for anything. I did wrong." Well, there we go. Punk admitted that the All Out media scrum was kind of like, "Hey, man, that's my fault." Punk later said he didn't talk to anyone from AEW for 6 months after All Out. I think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. I thought I was coming in to help business. If I could teach something great, and I think I was just brought in for other reasons. They're business, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset. It's not a real business. It's not about selling tickets. It's not about drawing money. It's not about making money. It's just not. Nope, it's all about Dave Meltzer. Let's be real. It's all about giving the 5-star ratings, dog. When asked what the company is about, CM Punk responded, "I don't know. I think just having good matches, maybe." Thank you. And there's nothing wrong with that. No, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, you also got to make good matches, like good stories as well. Because all Tony Khan knows how to do is put two people in a room and make them fight, not giving a reason for those two people to fight. Punk later said he believes Khan likely wishes he was still in AEW, but that others didn't want him there. When asked if he felt they didn't want him there from the beginning, Punk says he believes they didn't. Yeah, because Punk would take all the time away from the Bucks and Kenny and Hangman and all the Elite. Oh no, we're supposed to be the only main eventers. Oh, Cody was still there too. Fuck off. Regarding Colt Cabana, Punk says he'll probably not ever bury the hatchet with his former friend. I was at the curtain watching the show, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, can we talk so it's not weird between us?" And I just said, "I will never talk to you without a lawyer present." Punk also said that AJ Lee will probably not ever return to television. And then he later said of AEW, "When it comes to AEW and all that, I genuinely don't regret my time there. I'm just brutally honest about some things. And you ask questions and you're a real journalist, so I'll gleefully go ahead and answer it. It's done. I hope they're happy. I know I am, and I would like to leave it at that. I understand fans and the tribalism because I'm a Blackhawks fan. I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, so I will always troll and needle White Sox fans or Blues fans or Predators fans, you know? But some of the shit was so outlandish, talking about my dog and all this awful stuff." And that was where Punk left it at that. Jesus Christ. Well, basically, Punk confirmed what we all knew. Jack Perry fucked around and found out. Tony Khan's not a friend, he's a boss. The biggest, shock to me is that Tony Khan actually does not act like a boss. Where Jack Perry said, "Go cry me a river," Punk was like, "Hey man, you wanna take care of that?" And Tony Khan's just there like, "What the fuck do you want me to do? You are the boss and the CEO of the second biggest wrestling company in the world. What do you mean?" Tony Khan will act like a fucking tough guy on Twitter, but in the flesh, he's so shy, if you pinch him, he dies. Go fuck yourself. And, he basically confirmed everything that all the dirt sheets already reported. There was not a train that went and met him. Samoa Joe broke up the fight and later came up to Punk and told him to let's just kill it in a match. That Tony Khan only made Collision to separate everyone CM Punk likes and CM Punk hates. And basically everything in between. I wish Punk would have talked more about Jon Moxley and the squash match for the AEW World Championship, or maybe potential storylines that Punk was supposed to have when he was there. Something that wasn't in this article that I'll touch base on very, very quickly was when Punk went to visit Monday Night Raw last April. He said that several people in AEW felt betrayed. That Punk went to visit Monday Night Raw. And Punk was like, "I didn't go on a television once. I came backstage to go say hi to friends. Meanwhile, you're having people working for your company going on television doing other things. So it's there's a big difference." And there was another thing where it's I have a lot of friends in AEW, and he named a few Sting, FTR, Darby, and all them. But I don't want to name more because I don't want them to be fired for being my friend more than they already have. Whatever the fuck he's talking about, I really don't know. But it's if you're really punishing someone for being friends with one of your most controversial figures, then Tony, you are literally just a bully. You're not a buddy, you're a bully, dog. But yeah. Well, I'm glad CM Punk broke his silence. And this seemed like a very good interview with Ariel Helwani. And who do I side the most in this situation? Honestly, CM Punk. And I know if you look back in the early days of my channel or on Twitter, at first I didn't really like what CM Punk did. But after opening my eyes and realizing the bullshit of Tony Khan I'm going CM Punk all the way. No, it is not because he is in the WWE. You fucking idiots. You tribalists. Go fuck yourself. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this whole CM Punk situation? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to turn post notifications on. That way you never miss an upload. And until next time, this has been your boy Willie Does Wrestling. I will see you in the next video. Be good, people, and peace.